Good day out there. Excuse me. Good energy on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Got some good special teams work. Did some normal drive work, but got some coming out, and then finished it with some overtime. Plays on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Offense got some things going early. I thought defense did a really good job in the middle part of the scrimmage, getting off the field. Third down defense was really strong for the most part, and in the overtime, I thought the defense did a great job. They played really good football in the overtime period. So all in all, good day's work. 2 weeks away from kickoff, 2 and change, and got a lot of things that we got to continue to clean up on both sides of it. The communication side, I thought could have been better offensively, just some of the mechanic stuff. But all in all, good work. It also lets us know where we got to improve before we get to Nashville.
Questions? Ben? No mic.
Josh, I guess would it be fair to say that the offense made a jump from scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 2? Just how would you assess that jump if you would?
I don't know if made a jump. I thought they made some plays. Some of our vets we did let go in this one. They got some early work and then got out in the middle part of the scrimmage. I thought there were some really good things that happened up front, protection early in the football scrimmage. There's some things just mechanically how we function and operate that we got to get better at too, and it was all positions.
Rob and Patrick?
Coach, you mentioned the offensive line. How did you function up front without Cooper and personnel-wise? What did you look like?
We've had multiple guys going at center, like I said when I talked about Cooper being out. Thought all those guys, handled it as far as the communication once they got the play call in a really positive way. I think our protection with the one group in particular has been pretty sound for the most part, and those guys got to continue to grow. We'll find out, as we continue to finish up training camp, where we're at with who will run out there with the first group, the first game.
Josh, with Joe.
I didn't say a whole lot there, did I?
With Joe, how was his accuracy today? How has it been compared to the rest of camp?
And he was really accurate with the football, really decisive. Been a really good decision maker. I don't know if he's thrown a pick all training camp. Been in control of the protections for the most part. We've continued to push their hand on that side of it. That's Joe, but that's the guys behind him right now too, and I think they've continued to grow in that way.
Wes and Austin?
If I remember correctly, after the first scrimmage, you mentioned a couple of little mechanical things offensively that needed to get cleaned up, and you said the same again today. Is that just common stuff for this time of year in training camp? I know you never want to see it, but is it common stuff?
Some of it is. The first scrimmage, in all reality, was probably a little cleaner than today's, but it was just operationally off the sideline, play clock, getting things settled as we get out there on the field, first play of a drive. I'm not worried about where we're at. We're pretty intentional on working those things during practice. I thought today could have been cleaner, but it wasn't just one guy. It was all of us just need to be a little bit cleaner.
Josh, with some of the older guys, being held out at various points in time during fall camp, it seems like Caleb Webb has been one that's taken advantage of that with the reps he's gotten. What have you seen? You always use the word intentional. What have you seen about him that's been intentional with his growth?
Yeah, from the off season to where we are today, he's been very intentional. I don't know if anybody spends more time in the building catching balls off the jugs. He's always coming back for extra work in the middle of the day to understand, what he's doing, what he's seen to continue to grow within our offense, understand defensive structure. He's just, he's gotten a lot stronger. His lower body in particular, that's helped him, speed, getting in and out of breaks. He's just continuing on his football journey with a real purpose every day, and small strides end up to big gains by the time you get to kickoff. Been really pleased with him. Chaz Nimrod is a guy that's done the exact same thing. He's continued to grow. He's played multiple positions within our offense, and really excited about Chaz and Caleb.
Adam and Rick?
A couple injury questions. One, can you confirm Bishop and Weathersby, they're out for the year or for a while?
Weathersby will be out for the year. Deshaun is not out for the year, but will be out for an extended period of time, probably a couple months.
And secondly, with Cooper, do you feel like you're in a holding pattern until he gets back, or is it more preparing to play Virginia without him?
When you say holding pattern?
Just he's gonna be back soon, so we just need to, he'll be back and everything be fine for the opener, or are you preparing, we need to be ready to play without Cooper?
No, I mean, we believe we'll have an opportunity to have him back. Everything's gone well since, he, missed training camp and had the issue that he had. But at the same time, like, and it's true for every position, but in particular the offensive line, like, you better have contingency plans. You don't know when that's going to happen. A guy gets an ankle. You guys have seen that since we've been here, so every week you got to understand, where you're at going into the game, how you want to manage and play those guys if you're healthy. But if something happens to one of those 5 guys, somebody gets nicked up, who's the next in? How are you shuffling your front 5 if, in particular, a center goes down? So those are things that you work through every training camp and throughout the course of the season.
Noah, then Brent.
Coach, you said after the first scrimmage, the run game kind of closed out strong. How would you assess that group today?
Yeah, we'll be able to see more as you go back and watch it with all the bodies, and the moving parts up front. I thought at times we're really efficient and effective. There's some things that are unique within our run game that I thought, our guys handled really well. Some of that in our pull schemes. I thought the backs did a really good job of pressing, making cuts, some of that coming out the back door. We managed the load of, the guys that you've seen play a lot of football here. A lot of our young backs got a lot of work today. I thought they handled and operated better than they did in the first scrimmage as they continue to get comfortable in how we play.
Coach, I know it's a double-edged sword, in terms of good pass protection. What does that mean for your pass rush? There's been a lot of talk about getting better with a 4-man pass rush.
Mm-hmm.
Through 2 scrimmages, where do you think you are with that 4-man rush?
Not just the scrimmages, the practices are extremely important too to evaluate where you're at. I know that we've taken strides. That's in the interior, that's on the edges. We've added depth, which allows those guys to rotate more and stay fresh. I'm excited about what we're doing on the front 4 at this point, and some of the things that we have to grow in particular, pass defense in general, but third down defense, third and long defense in particular as well. A huge part of that's the back end, your backers included, but it starts with getting a really good pass rush. I'm excited about the growth that I've seen so far.
Ryan and Eric.
Sort of following up on that, what kind of progress have you seen throughout camp from Josh Joseph and James Pierce? How those guys come along?
Yeah, first of all, those guys dramatically changed their habits off the field. They changed their bodies because of that within what we're doing, strength and nutrition. And their level of play and understanding of what we're doing has continued to grow in a really big way. I've said this before, but there's a difference between guys that come in mid-year, I'm talking about true freshmen, and guys that show up late May, early June. Those guys were both June arrivals last year. They did some really positive things last year, but they've had a really good offseason of continued growth.
At this point in fall camp, 2 scrimmages in, look at the secondary. I know you're trying some different pieces back there. Anybody separating themselves from the pack?
Well, similar to offensive line, right? You got to have contingency plans as far as where guys are going to truly navigate to get your best 5 on the field. You got to have some depth at those positions too, and rotate some during the course of a ball game. We got some young guys that have really grown here over the last 11, 12 practices. Excited about them. They'll play some defensive snaps, but they'll play a ton on special teams too. Our vets. I'm excited about the guys that maybe missed a little bit of time last year or here early in training camp. I feel like they've really grown in our schemes, understanding communication, fundamentals, and technique. The next couple of weeks are hugely important. As we get everybody back healthy, to make sure that we grow the right way before kickoff.
Wes.
What kind of off-season and camp has Jalen Wright had? He's always been such an impressive guy when he gets out in space athletically. How's he done in terms of staying healthy, doing all that stuff?
Yeah, he's been healthy throughout the course of training camp. His body's dramatically different. He's one of the guys that we recognize as we started training camp just for what he had done in the offseason, the changes that he had continued to make to his body. Been very intentional in his work. He's continued to grow, and just being able to have a championship mindset, be able to reset from play to play with passion, not playing just straight out of emotion. been great with the young backs. He's been a great leader, great teacher for those guys. He's into it when he's not even the guy that's getting the reps. On the football side of it, he's a guy that, as you said, early in his career, just wanted to run around everything and just use his speed to his advantage. That's how he had kind of developed as a young back in high school with some of what they did. He can still do all those things, but he's got really good vision. He understands blockers. He understands how to use them. He delivers double teams to the second level. He finds space. His vision on the backdoor cuts his grown. He's doing it at the right time. He's playing at a really high level.
Last question, Rob.
Coach, from the outside looking in, it looks like you got more depth in the secondary. That's been tested a little bit, guys being nicked up. Do you feel like you're deeper there, more able to sustain injuries?
Yeah, we absolutely are deeper on the second level, our second and third levels. The growth of the young guys inside of our program that can be, at the linebacker spot, guys that were here playing, a lot of them as special teams last year, Elijah and Caleb, those two guys in particular, the young guys that we've added, the true freshmen at that position. Aaron Carter's had a great training camp. I said it, I think, a week ago, but he's taken a major step just from where he finished spring ball. I'll say the same thing about T-Lander and Jalen too. On the third level, the young guys are going to play some snaps for us. We have great competition that creates urgency in the meeting room, creates urgency in the off season. It shows up in the way they play and compete on the practice field. And today when we're inside the stadium, we have guys that are vets that played a lot of football last year. Those guys have all taken a step in their understanding of how we want to play too. So we absolutely have more depth, more competition, and as we get closer to kickoff, figuring out the rotation, so those guys continue to compete and show that they're going to play at a championship level.
Thank you, Coach.